key with water, first thing when you get out of the ground, is you want to keep it cold. So wrap it up, and you want to keep it dark, because there's minute little bonds in the water. The water molecules shaped like a Mickey Mouse head. Right? It's got like an oxygen with 2 hydrogens. And there's hydrogen bonding, which is that all the water molecules link up along those hydrogens and create a giant network like a liquid crystal. And when light beams come into the bottle, they start to sever those bonds, break that down, so the structure starts being lost. So you could picture a good crystal water as kind of, it wants to structure itself in little hexagons, like little snowflakes. Much smaller than snowflakes, so millions of them. So it's kind of like a giant honeycomb, little hexagons, but it's a liquid. So imagine a honeycomb that started to melt and flow, but it's still holding that shape of hexagons. As soon as light comes in there, it starts to break that down. As soon as heat comes in there, it starts to break that down. So what we want to do is try to keep that hexagonal structure intact. Over time, the water is going to start to go a little bit flat, and I'll show you what I'm doing to keep my water really fresh. I originally had the plastic lids that came with these bottles, and over time, I personally have gotten into using corks. And you asked where I get these things. I started out with the easiest way to get a bottle, if you're looking for a big bottle, is to go to a convenience store that sells 5-gallon spring bottles, and usually you've got to pay a deposit on the bottle, about $5 to $10, and then you pay about $5 for the water itself. Take that bottle right out, dump the water out. Don't ever bring the bottle back. They keep the deposit. You get a bottle for $5 to $10, which is a great way to do it. These bottles come from wine supply stores and brew supply stores. So people who home brew usually have really great equipment. And if you can find a wine shop, that's the place to go. They'll usually have a lot of interesting glass. And sometimes people will bring in old glass bottles, interesting ones, egg shapes, and all kinds of interesting things. This was originally a wine bottle, actually. Okay, this is a standard 2-inch coupler that PVC pipes for plumbing.
Standard 2-inch coupler, spelled C-O-U-P-L-E-R?
Right. Yeah, used in plumbing just to link together pipes. This is about 2 inches across, so this works perfectly. What I've done here is took a rubber washer that I got at a hardware store, and it had a bit of a bubble on the top, which I sliced off with a razor blade, and that just narrows the channel so I can get a tighter vortex. So I sit this on the top like this, cinch this on. So the corks breathe a bit where the plastic doesn't. That allows a slight bit of air movement between the bottle and the atmosphere that it's in, which allows like a gas exchange, which you want to have happen a little bit, but not strongly.
What are you tightening that on with?
And this is just a little hex wrench.
Gotcha.
That I found that fit it. I showed this to a few children, and then I end up having to make a miniature one for them usually, because they'll make me do this over and over again.
So let's compare this to, like, say, a Vitalizer Plus, which costs in excess of $520. What's the difference between that and this contraption you've created for literally pennies on the dollar?
This was about $4.50, I'd say. That's an excellent machine. It's a highly advanced machine. It's a bit beyond where most people are really at as far as they're even under their understanding of water. It was developed by a mad scientist who was a genius. It's a wonderful machine. This, for me, personally works better. There's no electricity needed. I can travel with it. I can do huge quantities of water at a time. And I'm starting off with high-quality water, which is a lot different than if I'm starting off, say, with urban tap water. So that machine's really designed for that. This water's already great, and all I'm doing is giving it a little boost to keep it fresh and keep it lively.